way that Smile on My Photos came about was during the time of creating the album. We were listening to a lot of classic Future joints and projects and albums and mixtapes. And two that kind of really stuck out to me at the time that were very partly emotional, but also him speaking a lot of lingo and a lot of slang was the Purple Rain project and the Evil project. And he has a lot of other projects where he does the same, but in these projects, the production kind of also carried behind him exactly what he was speaking about through the emotional qualities. So that's kind of what inspired the chords and the melody and the rhythm and a lot of that surrounding Smile My Photos beat-wise. And on some of those projects and some of those productions, there was also guitar included in the background, which that also somewhat had an inspiration and a spark for the motivation for the production, but there was also a hint of inspiration from Pink Floyd and their Division Bell project and how they utilized a lot of ambient guitar sounds and just reverb and delay and leads in their songs and song structure in that whole entire project. Starting Smile My Photos, I started with this kind of pad sound that was kind of ethereal sounding, and I sort of utilized that on its own to just bring into the space and bring everyone into the realm of what this song and production was about to say and speak to the audience and the listener. I then followed that up with some heavy bass and just low tuned bass that's kind of ominous and ambient sounding to kind of just bring in the vibe and sort of bring a dramatic, like darkish feel to the track on top of everything else that's about to be added as well. Next, I added this dark, melodic, reverb full piano sound because I feel like every song or every production that's sort of emotional needs just some chords from a piano driven behind it, whether it's prominent and loud and proud or tucked beneath the production. Just, I feel like that's kind of what adds that emotional quality to a track. I then added some sort of plucks, lead bell sound in the background to kind of bring out like just those hard-hitting melody hits throughout the production to kind of draw you more and more into the song and to kind of allow you to get lost in the melodies. For the guitar parts and placements, I kind of played it chopped up, sort of kind of how Eddie Van Halen would, and how he recorded things. Is I played like sort of how a rapper would do it. I punched in some key parts and then punched in behind it and then followed up with one more punch in. But I just added just a slight lead because sometimes some production you can add guitar, but it doesn't need to be flashy. It doesn't need to be nothing crazy. Just a good producer, a good musician knows how to add something that just cooperates and fits cohesively with the song and doesn't overdo it. After doing this, I took the guitar that I recorded and I dragged it into a sampler and chopped it up, and I kind of played it how I would play like a regular sample. I chopped it up and played it on the pads, on the keys, and just added it and messed with the rhythm a little bit and kind of squeezed it in there in the production and just fit in the background. And again, this is the guitar part that even tone-wise, it's inspired by like Division Bell, Pink Floyd, and David Gilmour, and that kind of sound that he brings to the guitar when he plays it. I remember playing the guitar on this part. I utilized the whammy to kind of hit those ins and outs and vibrato on the last tail end notes, just to kind of drag it out and bring in more emotion and more feeling and dramaticness to the melodies that I was playing. Next, I sort of add the rhythmic glue to the track, which is the drums. So the way I went about the drums is I kind of had like the 808s and the snares kind of have a conversation with one another and communicate back and forth, like call and response. So if you notice, they kind of like communicate like back and forth, like one will play, the other will hit right after, kind of just working in that space and that rhythm to create like, to fill it up pretty much and just create a good pattern. And I also didn't want the hi-hats to do too much in this track. I wanted them to kind of be calm and just provide just a rhythmic backing, nothing too crazy, nothing too skippy, just enough to just provide like an ongoing feeling. And in total, that's pretty much the whole entire track. I just kind of pieced everything together, tracked it out, and let Nato kind of do his thing on the track while he recorded, and kind of let him spill and say what he wanted to say. Every time we sort of record, it's kind of like I just pick the song or the track or the production for the moment. He kind of allows and grants me that permission, and he doesn't want to listen to the beat. So whatever I feel like the moment is calling for, or I sort of read his social cues and see what's going on and how he's feeling, and I'll kind of pull up a track more tailored for that moment, and then just allow him to just record and just say his mind and speak his mind and spill on the track. And it's more so poetry in that effect. So that's how Smile My Photos came about for the album, Hell of a Life.
Smile in all of my photos. It took time, but nobody